Alright, how is everyone doing today? Welcome back to another video, and today what I have for everyone is my full review of the Samsung Galaxy Tab S6 tablet. So I've been using this tablet for a crazy amount of time, and I feel like I've gathered all my thoughts and opinions on it, and that's what I'm going to share with everyone today in this full review. So hopefully by the end of this video, you guys and gals know if this tablet is still worth picking up. Now, let's not waste any time and let's jump straight into the video. So starting off here, the first thing I want to talk about with everyone is the overall build quality and design of the tablet itself. Now, build quality wise, this tablet is phenomenal. It's built out of aluminum and glass. So we have a full aluminum body on the back and the sides, okay? And then we have a glass front. Now, I couldn't for the life of me figure out what type of glass this is. I'm not sure if it's Gorilla Glass 3, 2, or whatever. Couldn't find it. Did a lot of research, couldn't find it. But in terms of the overall body and build, this whole body is built out of aluminum. Now, we do have plastic cutouts and insertions for antenna purposes for the Wi-Fi. But other than that, this whole body is aluminum. Okay, so build quality wise, that's what we're working with. And in terms of the design, this is your standard 10-inch tablet, 10.5 inch if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check my notes here. Alright, yeah, 10.5 inch tablet. Yeah, so this is your standard big boy tablet right here. Alright, so talking about the overall build quality and design on the whole, I would have to say Samsung did a great job. I've had no issues with this tablet in terms of the build quality, and I actually love this design. I've taken this tablet with me now on multiple jobs, and I gotta say, when it's cleaned up, now I've been roughing it up a little bit with some editing, when it's cleaned up and ready to go, it actually looks quite professional out in the field. And this is perfect if you have a Galaxy device to use alongside it. Alright, and that's primarily when I go and I'm doing recording work for customers. I primarily shoot with Galaxy devices. So I have my S10e and I have this, and I'm out in the field shooting with my professional microphones if I need to. And I gotta say, I love the overall look of this. I love the overall design of it. It is top notch in my overall opinion. Top notch indeed. Okay, so now let's move on now and let's talk about this display. And while I talk about the display, let me give y'all something pretty to look at while I talk about the display. Let's turn it down and let me go ahead and pull up a YouTube video here. Alright, and I had the copyright free music loaded. Let's go ahead and we're gonna pull that back up later. Let me go into my history here and let me give y'all something pretty to look at while we talk about the display here. Okay, now there we go. That looks really good. Now, in terms of the display, this, as I said earlier, is a 10.5 inch, okay, 2K display. So in particular, it has a resolution of 1600 by 2560, giving it a screen density of 287 pixels per inch. Just in case y'all wanted to know the technical specifications, again, I couldn't find the glass that it was made out of, so I'm not sure if it's Gorilla Glass 3, 4, 5 or Gorilla Glass Victus. I'm not sure, but all in all, that's the display specifications that I was able to find. Now, talking about the display in terms of daily usage, now I'm gonna be honest with y'all, this display was primarily purchased for editing purposes, okay, and a little bit of multimedia, right? So this display really does not leave the house unless I'm on the job and I want to show the customer, you know, okay, this is what I recorded, and I drop it over to the tablet real quick so they can see it on a bigger display. Other than that, this display does not leave the house. So talking about using it outdoors, I haven't really used it outdoors much. And technically when I shoot indoors for customers, we're shooting indoors, as I've said. So I haven't really taken this display outdoors too much. But talking about the display from a day-to-day standpoint, using it indoors, right? I typically keep it at about, I want to say 35% brightness. Y'all can see right there, that's about 35% brightness. I rarely, if ever, have the need to crank it up past 50%. So y'all can see that's about 50%. And this display looks great. Now it's kind of making my camera do strange things. So let's put it back to 35%. But talking about using this display on the day-to-day, this is a phenomenal display. Now in particular, this is a Super AMOLED display, all right? And y'all know I'm a big fan of Super AMOLED displays. Samsung makes some of the best displays in my overall opinion, all right? But this is a phenomenal, top-notch display in my overall opinion, and I haven't had any issues with it, okay? Now, let's move on. Let's talk about something else. Let me load back up the copyright-free music for later on in the video. Let's pause it right there. That's good. That's good. So now, moving on, let's move on to another category. So we talked about the build quality and design. We talked about the display. Now let's take a deeper dive into the hardware and the software on this bad boy right here. Now, hardware wise, I already talked about the build. We have an all aluminum build with glass on the front, okay? Talking about some more key hardware specifications, okay? We do have a dual camera setup on the rear, okay? We have a 13 megapixel primary and a 5 megapixel ultra wide. The rear facing camera can record in up to 4K at 30 FPS, okay? We do have S Pen support, and it does come with an S Pen that can just magnetize onto the back here. That's also how it charges. So it does charge the S Pen conductively. So I don't have to plug the S Pen into anything. And I gotta say, that looks mad professional as well. I like the way that looks, okay? So in terms of the cameras, getting back on task here, they can record in up to 4K, 30 FPS on the rear, okay? Talking about some more hardware specifications, we do have a quad speaker setup. So we got 2 speakers on this side, and we have 2 speakers on this side. And I gotta tell y'all, spoiler alert, the speakers on this sound great. I'm gonna give y'all a speaker demonstration a little bit later on, but the speakers on this sound great. Coming over to the front, we already talked about the 10.5-inch display, but up front here, we have an 8 megapixel camera that can record in up to 1080p at 30 FPS, okay? And y'all have actually seen examples of the front-facing camera because I used that to record a few intros, all right? Now, that is a really good camera there in my overall opinion, all right? Let's move on. Let's talk about some more important hardware on this bad boy right here. Okay, now in particular, when we talk about the processor, this is running the Snapdragon 855 octa-core processor and the Adreno 640 GPU. So this is an older flagship processor. Still performs like a champion in my overall opinion. We're going to get to overall software and performance in a little bit here. But more hardware specifications include this bad boy comes in 3 RAM storage configurations with micro SD card expansion support. Alright, so you can either get this bad boy in 4 64, 6 128, or 8 256 RAM storage variants. And this particular model is the middle variant. So this bad boy has 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of onboard storage. And again, we do have micro SD card expansion. All right, talking about charging, because that's important, and we're going to expand on that a little bit later on. This does charge via USB Type-C, and it is 15-watt wired charging. So there's no wireless charging on this bad boy right here. And I'm going to expand on my overall thoughts with the charging a little bit later on in the video. Okay, now I do believe that goes over all of the hardware, top-notch hardware in my overall opinion. If I did have one issue with the hardware, I wish they would use a little bit better oleophobic coating, because as y'all can see, this bad boy picks up fingerprints like nobody's business. So I'm constantly wiping it down all the time. Okay, so Samsung, maybe they did for their newer tablets, but you need a better oleophobic coating. Alright, so that's the one issue that I have with the hardware. That, and I wish the charging was a little bit faster. Okay, but that pretty much goes over the hardware. Okay, now moving on to the software on this bad boy right here. This is running One UI 4.1. Okay, that's built on top of Android 11. Let me show y'all some verifications here. Alright, so if we jump into the settings, okay, that's the battery information. We're going to come back to that in a little bit, but let me show y'all the software here. So y'all can see this is running One UI 4.1 built on top of Android 11. Okay, alright, and I gotta tell y'all, in terms of the software, guys and gals, the software on this has been really good. Y'all can see I have multiple applications open, haven't had any issues with the overall software, and we could do a variety of different things because it has Samsung's One UI on it. That being said, I do want to point out, although the software and the performance is good, I still did notice that there is a little bit of a RAM management issue. Okay, still did notice that, and that's even with using the RAM Plus feature. Alright, so let me show y'all that, just in case y'all didn't know how to find it. So let's say you're using a Samsung device or any Android device that lets you take advantage of RAM Plus. In particular with Samsung, you go into battery and device care. Okay, and then we want to go over to memory. So y'all can indeed verify this is the 6 gig of RAM variant. Okay, so if we tap on memory, it's gonna check it real fast, and then you can see we can exclude stuff to close in the memory, and then we have access to our RAM Plus. Now, right now I have it on the bare minimum, but y'all can see you can go up to 6 gigs of virtual RAM. So what that does is it just allocates physical storage that it converts into virtual memory. Okay, much like you would do on a traditional desktop or laptop computer. That's what the RAM Plus is. It's just virtual memory. So in essence, or technically, with the 6 gig of RAM variant, you can go all the way up to 12 gigs. Okay, 6 gigs of physical memory, 6 gigs of virtual memory, and I did that. Okay, and you would think with 12 gigs of RAM, you shouldn't have any memory management issues, but no, memory management issues still persist. And I found that if it doesn't make a difference, I'm not gonna have you eat up on my physical internal storage. So I just put it back down to the minimum, which is 2 gigs. So right now it has 6 gigs of physical memory and then 2 gigs of virtual memory. So technically it's using 8 gigs of total memory. And although the performance on it in terms of the software is good, it still does have some RAM management issues. Just wanted to point that out. Now I found that Once I get over using about 6 memory intensive applications, it does struggle and have to reload. And you can see it does have to reload some of this in the multitasking or recent apps carousel. And it shouldn't have to do that. The majority of the apps that I use, aside from my editing applications, are not memory intensive. So it should be able to easily hold those applications in the memory. And I have to report, because I got to share my experience, it does have some RAM management issues. So Samsung, you got to tighten up the RAM management, okay? All right, but talking about the overall performance on the whole, it is good. It's good, all right? And talking about the overall hardware on this bad boy right here, it is top notch. So combining both categories for an overall summarization, I have to say the hardware and the software on here is really good. Okay? Okay. Now, talking about the Wi-Fi and the overall Wi-Fi performance on here, this bad boy is rocking AC dual band Wi-Fi, so I do have access to the 2.4 gigahertz band Wi-Fi and the 5 gigahertz band Wi-Fi. This bad boy does come in a cellular and Wi-Fi variant. This in particular is the Wi-Fi only variant. Okay, so I decided to save a little bit of money there. The cellular variants tend to be a little bit more expensive, okay? But that being said, talking about the overall Wi-Fi performance, it has been top notch and I haven't had any issues, okay? No issues whatsoever. Alright, and let me pull up a YouTube video now and give y'all a Wi-Fi performance test. And again, this will also double as a speaker test as well, so let me go ahead and turn the speakers back up so y'all get an idea of how the quad speakers sound. Alright, and for reference, I'm going to show you the speaker demonstration 2 ways. Okay, so this bad boy does have quad speakers tuned by AKG, and it has Dolby Atmos audio, right? But I want y'all to hear how the quad speakers sound without the Adobe turned on, and then we're going to turn it on. Okay, and honestly, in my opinion, these speakers sound great either way, but I want to demonstrate them both ways for everyone here today. So let me spin my mic around, give y'all a real nice mic sample. Okay, and y'all can kind of see the mic in the frame. Okay, and let's go ahead and push play. So I'm gonna let it play for about 20 seconds or so without the Adobe Atmos turned on, and then I'm gonna let it play for 20 more seconds with Adobe turned on, and then we're gonna scrub through the video and check the Wi-Fi performance. So y'all can see I got some copyright free music pulled up here. Let's go ahead and push play now. Alright, so this is Adobe turned off. Okay, y'all can see Adobe is turned off, and let's let it play for 20 seconds. Here we go. Enjoy, guys and gals. Alright, a little bit more than 20 seconds there. Let's turn Adobe on so y'all can hear the difference. Let me know if you can hear the difference. Ready? Adobe on. Here we go. Oh man, you really can. And you know what? To make it fair, let's restart the video here. So again, Adobe on, restart, here we go. Let me let y'all get that bass drop. Let me let y'all hear it. It's coming up. Woo! Okay. Let's check the Wi-Fi performance. Scrub through the video. Let's jump forward. Let's jump forward again. Let's jump backwards. Okay, that should do it. And in fact, let's jump backwards one more time. Okay. Alright, so real quick Wi-Fi performance test. Real quick speaker test as well. Now let me give y'all my overall opinions on the Wi-Fi and the speakers and the placement. Now Wi-Fi has been phenomenal. And then even further still, if I have a Samsung device, I can actually use the data from my Samsung device. So if I wanted to take this out and about and use it and have access to a bigger display, I can just pair up my Samsung device and use the data from my Samsung device as if it was a mobile hotspot and use this on the go. And I gotta tell y'all, that works seamlessly. So whether I'm using it Wi-Fi only or I'm using it with the data paired from my mobile device, no issues with the overall Wi-Fi performance, no issues whatsoever. Okay? And talking about the speaker performance on here, yes, these speakers are phenomenal. And again, we got a quad speaker setup, so there's no way that these speakers can get muffled, and they sound great. Nice and punchy, nice and deep, loud, crisp, clear. They sound great. Top-notch speakers in my overall opinion. Now, I do wish that they were a quad front-facing speaker setup. So maybe Samsung could have made a little incision here in the bezels and had two speakers on this side and two speakers on the top and bottom, giving us a true quad speaker front-facing setup. That would have been amazing and impossible to muffle in any shape, form, or fashion. So maybe, I don't know if Samsung watches my videos, I'm not that popular, but just an idea as to how you can improve the placement, because these are all bottom firing or side firing depending on how you hold the tablet. So, you know, okay? But if you make it front facing, I kind of detached the pen. We don't really need the pen attached here. Eating a battery for no reason. But in terms of the overall speaker performance, it continues to be top notch. And that is really important, especially when you're editing. Now, it's important to have a good pair of headphones when you're editing so you don't get distracted and you can really dial in. But for the instances where you don't have access to headphones and you don't have wired audio access here, because there's no 3.5mm headphone jack, so it's Bluetooth audio or just the onboard audio. So those speakers have to be phenomenal, especially for editing. This way you can catch mistakes and really edit properly. And these speakers are top notch in my overall opinion. Top notch indeed. Okay, really good stuff there when we talk about the overall speaker performance. Really good stuff there when we talk about the placement, although the placement can be improved. And overall, really good top notch Wi-Fi performance overall. Alright, so moving on now, let's talk about the overall Bluetooth performance. Now, Bluetooth wise, this bad boy has Bluetooth 5.0 built in. Okay, and let me show y'all here. Let me pull it up. In terms of the Bluetooth, in my opinion, the Bluetooth here is top notch. Okay, y'all can see a variety of different things that I've connected to the tablet. I have a Bluetooth keyboard, a Bluetooth mouse. I got my Galaxy Buds. I have my S10e. I got my Mi Band 4. Bluetooth performance on here has been top notch, okay? No issues with the Bluetooth, no issues whatsoever. So sure, it might be a little bit older Bluetooth, but it still works phenomenally, and I haven't had any issues, okay? No issues whatsoever. Alright, now we're going to skip over the GPS performance because this is not a cellular model. So even though this does have a GPS module built in, it's not a cellular model, and I did not take it out the house with the intention of using it for any turn-by-turn navigation. Now, if I wanted to, I could, because it has an onboard GPS module on board. So if I wanted to, I can download the Google Maps, or as I said, I could just pair up the data from my device and then launch Google Maps, and it will work. And even further still, if I wanted to download my maps and then launch Google Maps, it will work just using the onboard GPS module. But I did not pick up this tablet with any intention of using it on the go, okay? This is primarily picked up for editing and multimedia purposes. So we're going to skip over the overall GPS performance, but something tells me it would be phenomenal. And even further still, if you wanted to pick up a cellular version of this tablet and keep it in the car, or if you wanted to mount this tablet in your car to use it with turn-by-turn navigation and have a big beautiful display like this, it should work no problems. But I did not experience it because I did not test it in that way, so we're going to skip over the GPS performance. That being said, let's move on to another category. Let's talk about the cameras. Okay, now I asked you guys in the unboxing and first impressions video, would you guys like me to do a full camera review? Okay, didn't get any feedback, and y'all know my camera reviews can be kind of extensive. So because I didn't get any feedback, I did not make that video. Okay, those take about a week and a half to get the footage, and then another 4 to 6 hours to edit everything together. It's very, very time intensive. Okay, but that being said, I'm still going to share my overall experiences with the cameras on this device. Okay, now as I said earlier, we got a dual camera setup on the rear. Okay, so again, we have a 13 megapixel primary and a 5 megapixel ultra wide, and we can record in up to 4K on the rear. And we got an 8 megapixel front facing camera on the front that can record in up to 1080p 30 fps. And I gotta tell y'all, for tablets, and this is coming from somebody that the last tablet I used was an Amazon tablet. So coming from the Amazon cameras on the tablet to the tablet cameras on S6, wow, it's night and day. It's night and day. Now these cameras, although they are not the best, they are pretty good. They are pretty good. Now, if I need to take photos or scan document information, it is really good. Okay, and if I'm somewhere where I have really good lighting, I'm going to be able to get some decent shots out of the rear facing cameras on here. And the video in good lighting was surprisingly good. Alright, and y'all can see when you're using the viewfinder on the tablet here, it's nice and big and beautiful, and you shouldn't have any issues. And you have access to your shortcuts, so we can go to the ultra wide camera, and in good lighting the ultra wide camera still looks just as good. So the cameras on here, even though, and let me show y'all the front facing camera, hey guys, now I have a lot of studio lights going, that's why it kind of looks kind of blowed out, but even the front facing camera on here is really good, and I haven't had any issues with the cameras on here. Now granted, I would never, unless y'all wanted me to, right, I would never be out and about recording with my tablet cameras, okay? It just looks weird, okay? And people will look at you funny, and people already look at me funny, okay? I don't care how people look at me. I just do what I do, and I enjoy myself doing it. I try not to judge people, you know. Ultimate understanding is what I care about. So if you take the time to understand me, I'm going to take the time to understand you, and it's a judgment-free zone when you come around me, okay? But people will look at you funny if you're out on the street trying to record with your tablet. I won't. You do what you do. You enjoy yourself, but other people will. And I've gotten some funny looks. But then when I tell them I'm a YouTube content creator, oh, then the judgment goes away. But don't do it unless you want to. But the cameras on here are good. Really good. Especially if you want to take a quick picture to scan information and then upload it into the tablet and use it. No issues whatsoever. Okay? And this was the most surprising part. Taking video calls on the tablet. Now y'all can see I loaded up all my messenger applications, taking Telegram calls, messenger calls, Zoom meeting calls on the cameras on the tablet. Was really good. Really good. And I was surprised at how good these performed for those type of business style meetings. Really good stuff. And let's just say I was pleasantly surprised, and the cameras on here are really good, okay? And the audio coming from the cameras are really good as well, alright? So for a tablet, I was pleasantly surprised, but coming from an Amazon Fire tablet and those cameras, you know, a rock could have beat those cameras. But these cameras are really good, okay? So, moving on here, let's talk about gaming, okay? I did extensive gaming on this tablet, and I had a blast. I did a separate dedicated gaming video. I'll link it up down below, but I had a blast. And the performance was phenomenal. No heating issues, no performance or lag issues. The performance was phenomenal, and I had a blast gaming on this tablet. Now I just stuck to Android games. So Subway Surfers, Asphalt 9, Call of Duty Mobile, all worked phenomenal, and I had no issues. Now, scratch that. I did have one issue, but that's because of the size of the display. Using this display for gaming is good because you can see a lot of stuff, especially if you're doing shooter games. You can see a lot of your opponents when they try to sneak up on you, and everything looks good. But when you're trying to shoot back and maneuver, now I did adjust the controls on the display is to make it as easy as possible, but with this big display using on-screen controls, it was still a little bit cumbersome, right? So if you're going to game on your tablet, I would recommend you pick up a Bluetooth control, something like an Xbox 360 control. Those are kind of cheap, or Xbox One or Series S control, and it should Bluetooth up to the tablet, no problems. I want to do that. So the next time that I have to test out gaming on a tablet, and I do have some budget tablets in mind, it should be a lot less cumbersome. And a lot of those Android games, they have plug-and-play Bluetooth controller support. So if you're going to game on the tablet, or you're picking up the tablet for the kids and you want them to game, please consider investing in a Bluetooth remote. I'll link up one down below in the video description. But I feel like that would have made the gaming experience just over the top. But the gaming experience on the Tab S6 was top notch. And aside from the cumbersomeness of the display, I didn't have any issues. Okay, again, I'll link up that gaming video down below for y'all to check out. Now, moving on, let's get into the other important parts of the tablet. Let's talk about the charging. Let's talk about the overall battery life, and let me share my overall opinions. Now, talking about the battery size on the tablet here, let me show y'all real quickly. Now, on paper, guys and gals, Samsung is quoting, oops, that's the wrong spot. On paper, Samsung is quoting this tablet as having a 7,040 milliamp hour battery. But if you go into the About section and you go into the battery section on your tablet, let me zoom in for y'all here so y'all can see. Get that nice and sharp. So if you go into this section here, you can see it's quoted as 7,040. But if you go down here, they tell you the actual battery capacity. Okay, so it actually ranges somewhere between 7,040 and 6,840 milliamp hours. Okay. And I do got to give kudos to Samsung for throwing this information in here, even though they kind of buried it in the settings. Okay, so although they quote a different battery size on paper, they do tell you the physical battery capacity if you dive into the settings on your Galaxy device. So again, you dive into the settings, you go to About, and you go into battery information, and it will tell you the on-paper capacity as well as the physical capacity. Alright, really do appreciate that, Samsung. So again, on paper, it's a 7,040 milliamp hour battery, but in actuality, it ranges anywhere from 6,840 to 7,040 milliamp hours. Okay? Just wanted to point that out here. Now, I understand I could have pointed it out in the hardware section, but why not point it out when we have to talk about it? Now, let's talk about my particular results with the charging and the overall battery life. And we're on Android now, so I can use my trusty dusty Accu battery. All right, did that rhyme? Hashtag bars. So, talking about the overall battery life on the Tab S6, I would have to say it is really good. I averaged in terms of battery life between 8 and about 10 hours of on-screen time. Let me show y'all some of my stats here. So let's start at the top. Okay, so y'all can see the stats. And again, aside from testing it for the full review, using it as an editing machine, the battery life is really good. Okay, now I don't edit every day, so tablets that I use for editing, they have to have really good standby time, and I was able to get some really good battery life with this tablet. Okay, so showing y'all just some of the results. Okay, but the overall battery life on here has been really good. And again, I'm averaging anywhere between 8 and 10 hours of screen on time. Now, using this for editing, I average between 1.5 and 3 days of usage, and then I get anywhere from about 7 to 9 hours of screen on time. Now, when I'm using this for editing, I have the Bluetooth going, I have the brightness kind of up so I can really see what I'm doing, and I have my Bluetooth keyboard and mouse connected. And when you're using all that stuff in conjunction with sending files back and forth from my devices, it does take a toll on the battery. So the fact that it goes down to between 7 and 9 overall hours of screen on time, that's why I would say it has really good battery life, not top notch. But using it how you would use a regular tablet, it can easily get you about 10 hours of screen on time. Alright? So good stuff there overall. And if you don't use your tablets regularly, you should be able to get a good 3 days before you have to charge it. Okay, so that goes over the overall battery life. Now again, I want everyone to keep in mind that battery life is subjective and your guys and gals results may vary. And again, take these results with a grain of salt because this is coming from an extremely heavy user standpoint. But that's my overall results and my overall experiences with the battery. Now, talking about charge times, and let me show y'all again. This bad boy has 15-watt wired charging and it's relatively slow. And in my experience with the charging, this bad boy takes anywhere from about 2 to just over 3 hours to reach a full charge. And y'all can see I tested it in every aspect. So we got 20 to 100. I did that about 3 times. I got 5 to 100. Again, I did that about 3 times. We got 15 to 100. Y'all can see that there. 10 to 100. Okay. 5 to 100. And then 20 to 100. So it averages about between 2 and 3, just over 3 hours to reach a full charge. Keep in mind that depends on what you have running when you're charging the tablet. So if you turn off some of the stuff, some of the modules, it will charge faster. And or if you turn it off altogether, it will charge at its fastest. But if you leave it on and you just plug it in, this is what you can expect. Between 2 to just over 3 hours to reach a full charge, depending on the percentage that it's at when you plug it in. But the overall charging, in my opinion, is a little slow. Alright, oh, and I forgot to show y'all the battery health. Now, this bad boy did come with 100% battery health capacity. Now, this is a renewed device from Amazon, okay? And I have to say, we're going to talk about the pricing a little bit here. I was very happy to see that it came with 100% battery capacity. But y'all can see in my few months with it, it's dropped to about 99%. Okay? But overall, you can see the charges that I put on it. Now, that's a little bit inconsistent because I uninstalled it and then I reinstalled it. But y'all can see that's just the charge cycles that I put on it since I installed AccuBattery the last time. But overall, I'll have to say the battery health on here is phenomenal. I wasn't expecting to get a tablet with 100% battery health. So thank you, Amazon and the Amazon Renewed program. And the overall battery life is really good. And the overall charge times are okay. Could it be faster? Yes. But for what it is, and thinking about it in comparison to the overall battery life, it's okay. And the battery life overall is really good. So now, let's get into the final part of this video, and let's talk about pricing. Now, I do have the screenshot of the pricing pulled up. Let me go ahead and show y'all that. Where did I put it? So we can talk about it. Here it is. Okay. So y'all can see right here. Let me give y'all a close-up of that. Alright. When I picked up the tablet ran me before taxes $365. Okay. After taxes or taxes included, y'all can see right there. After taxes, this tablet came up to $390.55. Okay, we're talking about pricing and final thoughts now. Okay, now for that price, can I recommend that you guys and gals pick up this tablet? Well, I would have to say, if you're in the market for a tablet and you understand what you're going to be doing with your tablet, and you're going to be using the tablet until it dies completely, I would have to say yes. This tablet should serve you well. If you're in the business field and you want a tablet for productivity and business purposes, again, I would have to say yes. This tablet should serve you well. So whether you're using it for editing, business, or multimedia and content consumption, yes, I can recommend that y'all pick this tablet up. You shouldn't have any issues. Okay? Now, that pretty much does it for this video. I hope you guys and gals enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys and gals found it helpful. If you did, please help your boy out by giving the video a thumbs up. That really does help me out. You don't know how much. If you would like to see more content like this, also feel free to hit that subscribe button down below, and make sure you click off the notification bell icon right next to it so you guys and gals get notified when I publish new videos. Okay? And if this video piqued your interest, all the affiliated buy links will be available down below in the video description. And if you use those links, that does go towards helping the channel out so I can keep producing content at no additional cost to you guys and gals. So if you use the affiliated buy links down below, I consider that as being a win-win for everyone. Okay? And if you would like to see more coverage on the Tab S6, please let me know by leaving your feedback down below in the comments. I do try to read all the comments and answer all questions in a timely fashion. Just remember, if you're going to comment and we're going to chat, please keep it respectful, please. This whole video here today has been recorded using the rear-facing primary camera on the Samsung Galaxy S7 Active, okay? And we are using the professional studio lights here today. Let me show y'all real quick. Y'all can see the studio lights right there. And we are using wired audio. I am using my Movo MA2010 omnidirectional microphone to record this audio for the video here today. So please let me know what you think of the overall video quality, as well as what you think of the overall is greatly appreciated. And the video just broke itself into two. Alright? As always, I hope everyone is having a great day. I hope you guys and gals found the video helpful. And I hope you guys and gals are staying safe out there. That being said, I will catch everyone in the next one. We are out of here. Have a good one, everybody. Peace. Man, I know I said I was going to take some time off, y'all, but I absolutely hate leaving content on the table. Like, I absolutely hate leaving work undone. It's a pet peeve of mine. So if I have something that I need to finish, then I absolutely need to finish it. Otherwise, my mind can't rest. So I know I said I was going to take some time off before I came back with this full review, but my mind wouldn't let me rest. So now that this full review is done, now we can officially take some time off, y'all. Alright? So I hope y'all enjoyed all the content and coverage on the channel for the different products and devices. As always, I hope y'all found it helpful. That being said, I'm going to go ahead now and take some time off. Now that doesn't fit good in the frame, so we got to rock it this way. I'm going to go ahead now and take some time off, but there's still a bunch of stuff on the channel for you guys and gals to check out. So please check out the stuff on the channel. Please leave your feedback. All feedback is greatly appreciated. And I will catch y'all when I come back from my 2-month break. Alright? Alright, we are out of here. Have a good one, everybody. Peace.